1700s India, fading glory, rising powers, cultural brilliance, and the first decisive steps toward colonial domination. Using advanced visual reconstruction, we will transform miniature paintings, court illustrations, temple carvings, and early European sketches into lifelike scenes, revealing what daily life truly looked like across the Indian subcontinent during the 18th century. At the beginning of the 1700s, India was still one of the richest regions on Earth. Its textile industry clothed continents. Its agricultural output fed tens of millions. Its cities were among the largest anywhere in the world. The Mughal Empire still stood as the dominant power, ruling vast territories from Kabul to Bengal and from Kashmir to the Deccan. Yet beneath the glittering surface, cracks were spreading. We begin in Delhi, the imperial capital. The grand walls of the Red Fort rose above the Yamuna River, their red sandstone glowing in the morning light. Inside, marble halls inlaid with precious stones reflected the artistic perfection inherited from emperors like Shah Jahan. Courtiers in silk robes moved through perfumed chambers, poets recited verses in Persian, musicians played sitar and tabla in private gatherings. The Mughal court still projected magnificence, but the empire was no longer as strong as it appeared. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, succession struggles weakened central authority. Provincial governors grew ambitious. Military campaigns drained the treasury. Corruption spread through the bureaucracy. The emperor in Delhi increasingly depended on powerful nobles and regional commanders. In 1739, disaster struck. The Persian ruler, Nader Shah, invaded northern India and defeated Mughal forces. When his army entered Delhi, looting and massacre followed. The Peacock Throne was seized. Countless civilians were killed. Wealth accumulated over generations vanished in weeks. The psychological blow was devastating. The aura of invincibility surrounding the Mughal throne shattered. Yet life in Delhi continued. Markets reopened. Artisans returned to their workshops. In Chandni Chowk, traders sold spices, silverware, carpets, and embroidered garments. Water carriers moved through crowded lanes. Storytellers gathered audiences in courtyards. Despite political instability, urban culture remained vibrant. Travel east to Bengal, perhaps the most prosperous region of the subcontinent. The capital of Murshidabad thrived under Nawabs who governed with increasing autonomy from Delhi. Bengal's fertile delta produced rice, sugar, and indigo. Its weavers created delicate muslin, so fine it was said a full garment could pass through a ring. European trading companies competed aggressively for access to this wealth. The British East India Company established fortified settlements along the Hooghly River. The French East India Company did the same. What began as commerce slowly transformed into political interference. In 1757, the fate of Bengal changed at the Battle of Plassey. The young Nawab, Siraj-ud-Dowlah, faced forces led by Robert Clive. Betrayal within the Nawab's ranks ensured defeat. The East India Company gained decisive control over Bengal's revenues. It was not simply a military victory, it marked the beginning of corporate rule over Indian territory. With access to Bengal's immense resources, the company's influence expanded rapidly. Tax collection systems were reorganized to maximize profit. Peasants felt increasing pressure. Famine would later devastate the region. Trade wealth that once circulated locally now flowed outward. Meanwhile, in western India, the Maratha confederacy rose to prominence. Emerging from the legacy of Shivaji in the previous century, the Marathas expanded across central India. Their capital at Shaniwar became the nerve center of administration and military planning. Swift cavalry units moved across vast territories, collecting tribute and asserting authority. By the mid-18th century, the Marathas were arguably the most powerful indigenous force in India. They filled the vacuum left by Mughal decline. Yet ambition carried risk. In 1761, at the Third Battle of Panipat, they confronted the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Durrani. The battle was immense and brutal. Tens of thousands perished. The Maratha defeat halted their northern expansion and reshaped the political landscape. In the south, the kingdom of Mysore emerged as another formidable power. Under Hyder Ali and later his son Tipu Sultan, Mysore modernized its military structure. European techniques were adopted. Innovative rocket artillery was deployed in battle. Resistance against British expansion intensified through a series of Anglo-Mysore wars. Tipu Sultan envisioned an independent and technologically advanced state. He reformed revenue systems and encouraged trade alliances beyond British control. Yet in 1799, during the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, British forces stormed Seringapatam. Tipu Sultan was killed defending his capital. Southern resistance weakened significantly. While empires fought and borders shifted, daily life across India remained deeply rooted in tradition. In the sacred city of Varanasi, pilgrims descended stone ghats to bathe in the Ganges at sunrise. Temple bells echoed across the river. Priests conducted rituals passed down for centuries. Spiritual continuity endured regardless of political change. In Jaipur, founded earlier in the century, wide streets and geometric planning reflected scientific precision. The Great Observatory built by Sawai Jai Singh II demonstrated advanced astronomical knowledge. Massive stone instruments measured celestial movements with remarkable accuracy. Science and architecture blended seamlessly. Further north in Punjab, the Sikh community transformed under leaders who consolidated power into what would later become the Sikh confederacy. Fortified settlements and disciplined warrior traditions emerged. The foundations were being laid for the rise of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in the next century. In Awadh, the city of Lucknow became a center of refinement. Nawabs sponsored poetry, Kathak dance, and culinary innovation. Palaces and gardens reflected Persian and Indian influences combined. Courtly etiquette shaped elite life. Yet beyond palace walls, common laborers worked long hours to sustain the economy. Villages formed the backbone of Indian society. Most people lived in rural communities, cultivating wheat, rice, millet, and pulses. Agricultural cycles determined rhythms of life. Monsoon success meant stability. Failed rains meant hardship. Local landlords collected revenue. Religious festivals marked seasons. Oral storytelling preserved history. Trade networks connected India to the wider world. Gujarati merchants sailed across the Arabian Sea. Coromandel coast ports shipped textiles to Southeast Asia. Armenian, Arab, and Indian traders negotiated deals in bustling harbors. India remained economically dynamic despite internal fragmentation. Education flourished in diverse forms. Madrasas taught Islamic scholarship. Pathshalas instructed Hindu students in Sanskrit texts. Artisans passed down craft knowledge through apprenticeships. Classical music traditions matured into recognizable forms. Miniature painting schools in Rajasthan and the Deccan produced intricate masterpieces, but by the late 18th century, the balance of power was clearly shifting. The Mughal emperor remained in Delhi, but largely as a symbolic figure under company influence. The East India Company expanded its military presence. Treaties were imposed. Indian rulers became subsidiary allies or adversaries facing eventual defeat. Economic transformation followed political control. Revenue extraction intensified. Traditional industries faced pressure from changing trade patterns. Urban centers adapted unevenly. Some prospered under new arrangements. Others declined. Yet this century was not solely one of loss. It was also an age of adaptation. Indian states experimented with reform. Military modernization occurred in Mysore and among the Marathas. Intellectual exchange continued. Regional identities strengthened. The 18th century shaped the trajectory of everything that followed. It set the stage for deeper colonial expansion in the 19th century. It reshaped governance, warfare, and economics. It also forged the early memories of resistance that would later inspire movements for independence. India in the 1700s was vast and diverse, resilient and fractured, prosperous and pressured. From the marble halls of Delhi to the riverbanks of Varanasi, from the battlefields of Panipat to the trading houses of Bengal, the subcontinent stood at a crossroads between its imperial past and a colonial future. The story of this century is not simply decline or conquest, it is transformation. It is the story of a civilization adjusting to new realities while preserving its cultural depth. It is the story of rulers, rebels, merchants, farmers, scholars, and soldiers navigating an uncertain age. If you enjoyed this journey through 18th century India, let us know which era you would like to explore next: the Mauryan Empire, the age of the Cholas, or the era of the Delhi Sultanate. Thank you for watching, and as always, we will see you in the past.